Hey, how's it going? This is Jerome Shaw, motivator, meditator, coming at you with a message. And it's part of our Pranic pages from one of today's modern sages. We're bringing it back with Pranic pages. If you haven't seen the others, you can check them out. There's a playlist right before we say this. And the playlist is called Pranic Pages. So today we're reading from a book called Becoming Breatharian. And this book is by Akahi. And you might know Akahi and Camilla. So it's a step-by-step, energetic nourishment program. And it's called Becoming Breatharian. Beautiful. So today we're going to start, let's see here. We're going to start at chapter 2 in this book here, Becoming Breatharian, step-by-step energetic nourishment program. Chapter 2 is called The Light Process Came Looking for Me. I was in Sorata, Bolivia, renting a riverside house with a farm that contained peaches, chirimoyas, corn, tomatoes, potatoes, fava beans, and more. At the same time, Camilla and I were building an ecological house intended to be given as a community center for the children of the town. It was a round house made of adobe and natural resources of the same area. One day, in the summer of 2007, Hari, a woman from Argentina, came knocking on the door. She told us she was looking for a place to do her 21-day process of living on light. I was intrigued and asked about it. Basically, she told me that it was a process to purify the body and its energy, as well to learn how to nourish the body on prana. The possibility for the body to recalibrate and take advantage of another source of energy that can enhance its overall health and spiritual growth. And by taking in this energy, the need for food decreases. At the beginning, it took me 2 days to understand the concept and to actually allow my feelings to arise. The concept of feeding the physical body from cosmic energy instead of food seemed at first to be a revolutionary idea. But the more I thought about it, the more it seemed logical that human beings could absorb energy in greater quantities of photonics, light from the sun, and natural sources, just like plants and other living things in the universe. It was in accordance with what I have learned when practicing Taekwondo, Tai Chi, and Qigong. One of the practices with my sensei was to breathe consciously and expand my senses to perceive the energy around me. It's not enough for the mind to understand. I started to feel what that might mean for me, and also to realize that it was in front of me, having come unexpectedly to my door. So this lady rented a room very close to where I was living. She invited another person who had already completed the process to come and take care of her while she was doing her 21-day process. Victor Truviano, the man who doesn't eat or drink at all. I was very curious to meet Victor. Hari told me extraordinary stories about him, and that he had not been eating and drinking for 1 year. The day they arrived, I felt an amazing, pure energy had landed in the town and the property where we were staying. Hari was so excited and wanted me to meet Victor. After I met Victor and experienced his overflowing energy. We had many uplifting conversations. I was able to see Hari doing her 21-day process. That includes 7 days of dry fast to purify the deep toxins of the body, drinking nothing at all, and eating nothing at all. And after it, 14 days of drinking very thin juices. From my home nearby, I was able to feel the field of energy within them. Through them. Through that process. I had much respect for this being who came and shared the existence of the process with me. And I said to myself, this has landed in front of me. I'm going to take the opportunity and try it for myself. I decided to try it by doing a 4-day experimental process on my own. That was 1 day of dry fasting, not drinking or eating anything, and 3 days of drinking juices. I went on giving permission to myself to feel something new and different. I practiced meditation, breathing, qigong, and movements that helped me feel the prana. My own process to connect with my prana energy. I did this experiment with myself, and I felt so good during and after. I felt so free, so clean and healed, so pure, so uplifted that I just fell in love with that sensation of being embraced by energy. I realized that the 21-day process would be my next step. I decided to do the process after 6 months to give me enough time to prepare my physical body. So in those 6 months of preparation, I ate only fruits and drank only juices. And when the time came for the process in March of 2008, I was completely ready. For the first 7 days, I did not drink or eat anything. And then for the next 14 days, I drank only water, diluted fruit juices. During the process, somehow, the hunger disappeared. The hunger started to fade away. What this process did to me was very transformative. For example, I experienced a lot of emotional healing because I was able to face my fears very clearly, including the fear of death. Because in those 7 days of not drinking, I felt like I'm not going to make it. I experienced many fears and was able to face them. On the 5th day of this dry week, I was feeling very uncomfortable with my body. There was a lot of deep detoxification. I was mentally, emotionally, and physically detoxing. I was very weak and uncomfortable. My breath was shallow. My heartbeat was very intense. I felt that I was dying. I literally felt my body dying. And I didn't know how to stop the feeling. I didn't know what I could do to reverse it because I was so deep into it. I went to my bed to try to sleep, but I couldn't. My heartbeat was so fast, pumping through my chest very intensely. My breathing was so shallow. I thought to myself, oh my God, I am actually dying. And somehow, while I was experiencing this kind of momentary death, a part of me said, okay, just let yourself die. Don't be afraid. You have shared your gift. You have a beautiful life. It's fine to die. Just die. And when I accepted that possibility, I physically died. So I felt my body slowly dying, and somehow my consciousness was still present. I was conscious that my body was dead, but I was still alive. My spiritual body was breathing, and my consciousness was still alive. I had this realization that life is eternal, that only our physical bodies die if we want them to die. I was experiencing this very beautiful state of death in which everything was light. Down below me was light. Up above me was light. All around me was light. And there was this deep and beautiful state of comfort and safety. It was like feeling at home. And while I was there, I was just enjoying that state, remembering that that was me. That was me as a soul merging with the soul of the universe. In a moment, I received a message from this light source that told me, just breathe. My consciousness received that message, and it was transmitted to my physical body. My whole being took a deep breath, and my consciousness, my soul spirit, returned to my physical body. And in that moment, I began breathing again. But it was a different breathing pattern, relaxed and deep. It was like I reverted to something more basic, but it was a conscious reversion into an awareness of the breath. And when I was alive again, I felt my blood circulating through my body again. I was still cold, but I felt somehow my physical life was starting again. And because the message was to breathe, and the realization that my physical or my actual being was made of pure divine energy, I thought, yeah, I have to breathe if I want to be alive. All that night, I spent breathing and just being fully focused on breathing, because I realized that if I wasn't breathing, I would die. So I just kept saying to myself, just breathe. Let the energy flow through the breath. I'm gonna be fine. Just breathe. I just kept observing my breathing, observing that something had changed. Because before this, my breathing was very shallow. And afterwards, it was deep. It was like my breath was now connected with the universe. It wasn't just me breathing. I was breathing in synchronicity with all that breathes. And at the same time, I felt connected with everything, because I realized that everything is breathing in this universe. As we breathe, we are connected to all that exists. So the next day, the 6th day of the dry week, I was feeling better. And by the 7th day, I was feeling much better. The hunger disappeared. I didn't feel hungry or sick at all. And I thought, what is happening to my body? I was surprised to feel that dramatic change in me. And somehow, I didn't have any more fear. There was no fear at all in me. To me, everything was good. I just felt that I needed to continue with the process because everything was good. And with that confidence, that safety, and that assurance that I was a spiritual and eternal being and was through this body, breathing that divine source of energy, I was safe. So I continued with the process. Over the course of the next 14 days, the hunger disappeared. And there was a lot of healing in my body. It was very deep healing, like a completed recreation and regeneration of the body. I even lost weight, but I later regained it. And I was feeling perfect. After that process, I felt that my life was new. That all the past information, the past karma, the past illnesses that my body was holding were not present within me anymore. I felt very free, very happy, and I continued in that state. Because I was an artist. I didn't have the responsibility of going to an office to work or following a specific routine. I had all the free time to do what was most important for me. I decided to go to another town in Ecuador where nobody knew anything about what I had just experienced. I went to this other town with my wife, who did the process with me. And the two of us were able to follow the process to integrate completely within us. So that was chapter 2 of Becoming Breatharian, a step-by-step energetic nourishment program by Akahi Ricardo. And I trust you received an encouraging word or just a nugget of wisdom, something that you can absorb, take away, and bring within you, something that might inspire you or allow you to continue on your journey with your learning to keep that inner flame and fire burning. As we go through the life stages with wisdom from the ages. This has been Jerome Shaw once again in the Pranic Pages.